Sometimes you sit next to him and think, Lord, if I got to do this for 20 more years, can I? you know, no incidents, no blow ups, just sitting there with a feeling that keeps circling inside of you again and again. And you're wondering, I had to adjust my light. You're wondering, what in the world am I doing here? you know? And once you think that, you can't pretend that you didn't have those thoughts. It's like you're not majorly unhappy. You just start to see that somehow you're not aligned in values and what you're willing to tolerate. And when you look back, you might even wonder if you ever really were aligned. And at this stage, and at this age, that kind of misalignment doesn't just resolve itself. Because when something keeps showing up in your body, you know it's for a reason. It's there because it needs you to do something different. It's wanting a response from you. And it might not be there because something dramatic recently happened, but you do feel a slow internal shift inside of yourself. And once you feel that, the life that you've built together no longer seems familiar. So, if you're new here, I am Minty Ray, and this is the Inner Room. I don't rush any of my relational decisions, or at least I try not to. What I aim to do is to sit with what's true to me and to my body long enough so that I can understand it. Now, leaving after 50 usually isn't impulsive. It's years of noticing that conversations circle, but they don't deepen. Noticing that your needs are usually negotiated, noticing that you show up responsibly, but you're still not fully yourself. You're without joy, you're without aliveness, and in fact, maybe you too often feel hollowed out. But in midlife, time becomes real, and 20 more years doesn't feel like it's that far away. Remember when you were a girl and 20 years felt like never? I mean, it felt literally like it never would come. There may have even been a time, I know for me, that I stopped contributing to my my pension or my retirement because I'm like, oh, that's just never gonna happen. It seems weird. So it seems crazy or weird. The delusion and optimism that I had back then. Sometimes I'm astounded by it. But if I'm being honest, at that time, I didn't have a point of reference in my body either. I couldn't imagine what getting older would be like or feel like. I just didn't have any experience with it. But now I do. And I know that 20 years is more time than I want to give away. So the question changes. It's not, can I deal with this? It becomes, is this how I want to live the next chapter of my life? Okay. So let's think about the specifics of a life that's been combined, a life together. There may be retirement accounts, there may be a house, there's likely that Social Security timing, there's health insurance. So you didn't drift into stability, you've been working at it. So the idea of recalculating everything, of course, that's scary. But staying costs something too. So when we ask, what kind of security do I actually want for the next 20 years? We're not just talking about finances. Do you want financial stability, but constant tension in your chest? Do you want a paid off house, but to keep shrinking your voice? Do you want predictability, but no peace? Or would you take less creature and shared conveniences if it meant waking up and actually feeling relaxed in your own space? If it meant not being tensed to just speak, or really not managing something or someone else? If it meant not feeling like you're slowly withering? Those are different definitions of security. And at this age, we don't get to pretend that convenience and aliveness are the same. There's probably more moments where you feel relaxed alone. And I know that's not easy to admit, that your shoulders drop when you're by yourself. And when you notice that, you just can't unnotice it. Sometimes your nervous system figures it out before your mind is ready to have the conversation about it. When a woman leaves later in life, people get uncomfortable. Friendships can change. Even adult children may feel unsettled. Folks start asking questions, and you likely start questioning yourself. It's like, am I doing too much? Am I being dramatic? But most women who leave at this age, they don't move fast. They've stayed, they've tried, they've adjusted themselves, they've prayed, they've rationalized, and they've done this for years. And at this stage, leaving is not something that's done impulsively. It's when clarity finally outweighs fear. What makes this especially interesting or complicated is that sometimes nothing obvious is wrong. You know, he's decent. We function fairly well together. The bills get paid, but there's no depth. There's no forward movement. There's no growth still. There's just maintenance. And maintenance can slowly hollow a woman out when she outgrows the version of herself that initially agreed to the arrangement, 5, 10, 20, or even 25 years ago. This isn't about villainizing anyone. It's about asking whether you still fit inside of what you've built. Leaving at 50 isn't about rebellion. It doesn't feel like a vibe. But I'll tell you, it's not selfish either. It's often the first time you start to really sit with the question, what do I need to feel like myself in my own life? Not tolerated, not accommodated, not managed. And if that can exist inside of the relationship, then eventually a decision starts to form, whether you want it to or not. Now, being alone doesn't mean loneliness automatically, although it might mean solo, or it might mean a life of being solo. And sometimes solo feels better to the body. It might mean dating differently, if you date at all. And yes, it does come with the opportunity of being less willing to override what your body is already telling you, or simply living in a space where you don't have to monitor yourself, monitor the environment all the time, where your shoulders stay relaxed, where you're not constantly trying to figure out what's up with them today, and then often trying to ignore that, or worse, basically just coexisting and knowing that likely yours and his fulfillment is happening elsewhere. At this age, peace isn't a luxury. It's a healthy and wise choice. Some of you will stay, some of you will leave. Some of you are in that quiet in between where you're still observing and collecting data. But here's what I know: there isn't a reward for staying in something that steadily disconnects you from yourself. Midlife isn't about blowing up your life. It's not about abandoning yourself again and again. And once you see that clearly, that awareness quietly shifts something inside of you. So, this is not about leaving. Our talks are always about taking care of yourself. All right. Please do that. Until next time.